the Liberals don't really care about the impact of crime on communities, do they?
You know,
Or actually, maybe they do, but they seem to be very selective in how they attack this problem.
what's interesting, Kimberly, is the Victims Ombudsman office was left vacant for a year and a half or more by this Liberal government federally, and that, to me, it speaks volumes to where their focus is. They've watered down sentences in C-75 to deal with criminals. They've made some offenses fines as opposed to mandatory jail time, or they've made them hybrid offenses where the Crown can choose. So their approach seems to be misguided, and I think that anytime you lose focus on the victim of
On the
crimes,
victim,
you're right,
yep.
and we need to really ensure that our justice system is fulsome in its approach. That when I started policing many years ago, we focused almost exclusively on the offender.
Yes.
And we didn't spend time, we didn't ensure that victims were properly cared for afterwards.
Correct.
And we need to ensure that the offenders are dealt with on a rehabilitation side, because we know that many offenders get into a life of crime. They have mental health issues, they might have addiction issues.
Yeah.
And we have to look at some of those reasons why these individuals are in the spot they're in. Absolutely, but
A preventative
yes,
program.
an education program, as
Yeah.
opposed to just focusing on them. We also need to ensure that victims are empowered to regain their life as well.
Yeah, understood. The Liberals had promised, as you'd mentioned, about $500 million towards guns and gangs, the prevention of or the solutions for. Whatever happened to all that money?
It's a great question. I don't know, and I don't think they know, to be honest with you, because from what I've heard from the policing community, there may be little snippets, little pockets of that money that's gone out here and there, but nothing that we can put our finger on that said, they've done this, they've given this amount of money to this agency or whatever to fight, certain types of this gun and gang issue. I mean, the majority of Canada is policed by municipal agencies: Toronto, Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, Montreal, like you name it. So the vast majority of the population is policed in those communities. Yes, the RCMP, our National Police Service, has a larger role to play to work collaboratively with these other agencies. But the RCMP is not the only agency that should be receiving all the funding for fighting gangs and guns. So I don't know where the money has gone. I don't know where they intend to or when they intend to give it. Like many of the Liberal promises, they promise big, so they overpromise and underdeliver, I suppose, is the best way to put it. And so Kimberly, I don't know where the money has gone or when they intend to push it out. Moving forward, if the Conservative government, or if we form government as Conservatives in this coming October, we will, absolutely, thank you. We're very confident about that. I think it's important for Canadians to appreciate that there needs to be the resources able for the law enforcement in this community, CBSA, RCMP, and municipal agencies to work collaboratively together to target the illegal smuggling of firearms.
With a metric for accountability.
Well,
correct?
yeah, and some, what are the results coming back,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Absolutely, and we need to ensure that the resources, not just boots on the ground, which is critically important, but all the wraparound supports that it requires for law enforcement, like crime labs, and ensuring that you get timely results back from some of the crime guns that are sent to labs to be processed, right? So there's programs that we have in mind moving forward that will ensure that our law enforcement community has the resources they need to tackle the issues that they're facing in these communities, because it's about public safety.